Hi yogis, welcome to class. Today we are going to do a little bit of unwinding after work. So I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time hunched over a keyboard or even driving around. And sometimes when I'm working from home, I even don't sit in a chair. So I might be on the couch or on the floor, or even, believe it or not, sometimes I'll sit in bed and work. So that leads to a lot of just really bad posture. So today we're going to unwind all of that. If you have some props handy, they will be helpful. A block. So I'm just using the block to sit on because it makes it easier for me to sit here for a little bit longer. If you have a strap, it's really helpful. This I think is a 6-foot strap maybe, which is ridiculous because I am definitely not even remotely that tall. But you could use a towel or a dog leash or a strap from your bathrobe, whatever you have handy. A tie, does anybody even have ties anymore? But you could use a tie. And then one other prop that I have not introduced a lot lately is the myofascial ball. Now, you don't have to purchase a myofascial ball. You could use a tennis ball or a racquetball, anything that's kind of like that tennis ball kind of size and has a little bit of support to it. Myofascial balls are very heavy. Now, because we would use 2 tennis balls today, you can also use this handy dandy little myofascial kind of prop. It's designed where you would use 2. So if you had 2 balls, you would just hold them side by side. If you don't have them, no worries. You know, I got lots of tennis balls around here if anybody wants to borrow one. So you could do something like that. So just have your props handy. And we are going to actually get started with our wind down. So just come to your knees or any seat that's comfortable. You can sit on top of your block. Take a few rounds of breath. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Sit up nice and tall. And we'll take a couple rounds of breath here. And go ahead and bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Maybe bringing your hand to the top of your head and reaching long. And then bring your chin to your chest. You can interlace your fingers behind your head and let the elbows give you a little bit of extra support here. And then right ear, right shoulder. This feels ridiculously good. And then go ahead and release. And just take a few rounds of neck circles here. A little back and forth, side to side. Whatever feels good to just move around the neck and shoulders. And if this feels good and you want to stay here, you can always hit pause. And then go ahead and find neutral. Grab your strap. So chin is about kiwi distance from your chest. You're going to grab your strap with your right hand and let that strap fall behind you, that long end there. And then reach your left hand behind and up the middle of your back. So bending at the elbows, reaching the fingertips towards your head, and then this top arm, this right arm, is going to bend behind you. Now we have the strap so that we can keep our head that kiwi distance and still open up through the shoulder. Now if you have the range of motion, you might be able to grab your fingers with, and interlace your fingers. That's not something that's going to be easy for everyone. So this, using the strap to give yourself just a little bit of extra is perfect. Nice. And then just go ahead and release. Put your hands or your strap down behind you for a moment. Interlace your fingers, and then placing the hands on your lower back, squeeze your elbows together towards each other and just lift through your heart here. You can lift your head. And then unwind your hands, unwind your fingers, interlace them in front, and then round through the back. Nice, let's do that whole thing second side. So you're just going to take the strap, bend, bend. Nice. Maybe walk the hands a little bit closer to each other. And don't worry about it if one side is way easier than the other. Usually the side, like our dominant side, is going to be our tighter side. Nice, and then just go ahead and release. You can set that strap off to the side, interlace those hands behind you one more time, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift through your heart. This feels really good. This is also good if you do any kind of strength training, upper body. If you're happening to be doing a bunch of push-ups. And then go ahead and interlace and push away. Nice, you can come off of that block, move it out of the way. We're going to work through the wrists a little bit. So find your way to your tabletop, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your wrists. No, knees underneath your hips. Ooh, don't roll away. And then we're just going to take a few rounds of cat and cow here. So pushing into the mat, let there be a little bend in your elbows, tuck your chin, round through your back, tuck your tailbone. And then as you inhale, let the tailbone lift, the belly drop, and the head lifts. The elbows are going to turn forward here. So exhale to round, elbow points turn toward, or the insides of your elbows turn towards each other. Then inhale to lift. Nice. So just creating a little bit of flow here. Whatever feels good for you. Getting the kinks out. Nice. And then we're going to take our hands and we're going to turn them out a quarter of a circle, so 90 degrees. So your fingers are facing the outsides of your mat and creating a little circle like there's a clock on your mat and you're tracing around that clock. And then we're going to go the other way. Just noticing what shows up here. And then we're going to take the fingers facing behind us. If this is not approach or accessible for you, that's okay. You don't have to. Just kind of turning them to whatever works for you here. And then maybe rocking gently forward and back. Nice. And then turning the fingers in towards the middle and finding that clock one more time. And then going the other way. Make sure you go both ways. Nice. And then we're just going to finish up this little hand series here. This one's tricky for me. So putting the backs of your hands on the mat, fingers are splayed wide. You might bend into your elbows here. You can even move a little bit closer and put most of your weight into your shins, your knees. And we're trying to work those elbows straight without overextending. Beautiful. And then just go ahead and give it a little shake out. Do some little jazz fingers. Whatever feels good here. Nice. And then, so before we head down for our little myofascial shape, we're just going to create a little cactus arm. So open up your arms here. Open up, lift the heart, look up. Stay engaged through the quad, or through the core here. Oh my God, words, you guys. Stay engaged through the core. And then as you exhale, bring your elbows down to the mat, coming almost to a modified child's pose. So the elbows come in front of your knees and just drop your head. Push away from the mat with your arms so that you can separate your shoulder blades. Nice. All right, grab either your tennis balls or whatever you have, your little myofascial tool. If you have your tennis balls, you're gonna need 2 of them, and you're going to put them, so we're gonna come onto our back and we're going to put it right at the base of the shoulders, right where your spine would meet into your shoulders. So right about there. And you're going to adjust for what feels good for you. But we carry a lot of tension in our upper back. And if you want to block underneath your head, you can do that. So right at the base of my neck, where my shoulders and my neck meet, I have this little, it would be 2 tennis balls, one on either side of my spine, about an inch to the outside. And then you can bend your knees if that feels good. Whatever feels good for you, to just be still here. And let your arms come out by your side, maybe down in like a V. If it feels good, you can come out a little bit wider, but that usually interferes with the placement of the balls. And we're just going to let this pressure point kind of do the work. We're not going to move on it. Allow yourself to be heavy over the balls. We'll spend about a minute here. Taking this time to be present and drop back into your body, letting go of all the things that happened before now. And then when you're ready, you can reach back there, pull those out from behind you, and just come down onto the mat. Let your arms be wide. Whatever feels good with the feet. I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together. And just taking about 10 or 12 rounds of breath here, creating that space between your workday and your evening at home, or your afternoon at home, however long your evening, afternoon is. It's really important to try and create that space, that break, so that you're not bringing work home with you and letting it bleed into your day, and you're not letting your day bleed into your work day. Setting up those boundaries to separate the two. Even if you work from home, having a nice break, something that defines one from the other. So maybe it's logging off the computer and going for a walk, doing a little bit of yoga, even just changing your clothes and washing your face. So that there's a nice separation. Of course, you're welcome to stay here as long as you have, but these are short and sweet. So either rolling off to the side or giving yourself a little rock and roll to come back up. Find your way into a seated shape. And then check in. How do you feel now? Are you refreshed and restored, ready to go about your evening, whatever the rest of the day brings for you? Thank you so much for joining me for this really quick after work practice. Have a fabulous evening. Namaste, yogi.